Namaste. Okay, I'm gonna read Hannukah Day 7 Torah reading and the Bible. Okay, it's Numbers chapter 28, 1 to 15, and Numbers chapter 7, 48 to 53. Okay, here we go. Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 28. God spoke to Moses, saying, Command the Israelites and say to them, You must watch over my offering, my food for my altar fire, which you offer up to please me. You are to offer it up to me at its appointed time. You must say to them, This is the fire offering that you must offer up to God, 2 unblemished 1-year-old lambs each day as a continual ascent offering. You must offer up 1 lamb in the morning, and you must offer up the other lamb in the afternoon. And 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour for a grain offering, mixed with 1/4 of a hin of crushed olive oil. Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 28. It will be a continual ascent offering, offered up like the one at Mount Sinai, a fire offering pleasing to God. Its libation, 1/4 of a hin for each lamb, to be poured on the holy altar as a libation of strong wine to God. You must offer up the second lamb in the afternoon. You must offer it up with the same grain offering and libation as the morning offering, a fire offering pleasing to God. On the Sabbath day, 2 unblemished 1-year-old lambs and 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with oil and its libation. The ascent offering of each Sabbath on its Sabbath following the continual ascent offering and its libation. Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 28. On your first days of the month, you must offer up an ascent offering to God, 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 1-year-old lambs unblemished, and 3/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for each bull, 2/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for each ram, and 1/10 of an ephah of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering for each lamb, an ascent offering, a fire offering pleasing to God. And the libations, 1/2 a hin of wine for each bull, 1/3 of a hin of wine for each ram, and 1/4 of a hin of wine for each lamb. This is the ascent offering of each month in its month throughout the months of the year. 1 young he-goat as a sin offering to God, and its libation must be offered up following the continual ascent offering. Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 7. On the 7th day, the prince who brought his offering was of the tribe of Ephraim, Elishama son of Ammihud. His offering was 1 silver bowl weighing 130 shekels, 1 silver dashen basin weighing 70 shekels according to the value of the sacred shekel, both filled with fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, 1 gold spoon weighing 10 shekels filled with incense, 1 young bull, 1 ram, 1 lamb in its first year as an ascent offering, 1 young he-goat as a sin offering, and for the peace-promoting feast offering, 2 bulls, 5 rams, 5 he-goats, and 5 lambs in their first year. This was the offering of Elishama, son of Ammihud. Okay, so that's that. I'll just keep going. Be a little break. Mark chapter 13. As Yah-Usha came out of the temple, one of the Talmidim said to him, Look, Rabbi, what huge stones! What magnificent buildings! You see all these great buildings? Yah-Usha said to him, They will be totally destroyed. Not a single stone will be left standing. As he was sitting on the Mount of Olives opposite the temple, Kepha, Yaakov, Yochanan, and Andrew asked him privately, Tell us, when will these things happen? And what sign will you show when all these things are about to be accomplished? Yah-Usha began speaking to them. Watch out, don't let anyone fool you. Many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and they will fool many people. When you hear the noise of wars nearby, and the news of wars far off, don't become frightened. Such things must happen, but the end is yet to come. For peoples will fight each other, and nations will fight each other. There will be earthquakes in various places. There will be famines. This is but the beginning of the birth pains. But you watch yourselves. They will hand you over to the local Sanhedrins. You will be beaten up in synagogues, and on account you will stand before governors and kings as witnesses to them. On my account you will stand before governors and kings as witnesses to them. Indeed, the good news has to be proclaimed first to all the goyim. Now when they arrest you and bring you to trial, don't worry beforehand about what to say. Rather, say whatever is given you when the time comes, for it will not be just you speaking, but the Ruach HaKodesh. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child. Children will turn against their parents and have them put to death, and everyone will hate you because of me. But whoever holds out till the end will be delivered. Now when you see the abomination that causes devastation standing where it ought not to be, let the reader understand the allusion. There will be the time for those in Yehudah to escape to the hills. If someone is on the roof, he must not go down and enter his house to take any of his belongings. If someone is in the field, he must not turn back to get his coat. What a terrible time it will be for pregnant women and nursing mothers. Pray that it will not happen in winter, for there will be worse trouble at that time than there has ever been from the very beginning, when God created the universe until now, and there will be nothing like it again. Indeed, if God had not limited the duration of the trouble, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those whom he has chosen, he has limited it. At that time, if anyone says to you, look, here's the Messiah, or see, there he is, don't believe him. There will appear false messiahs and false prophets performing signs and wonders for the purpose, if possible, of misleading the chosen. But you watch out. I have told you everything in advance. In those days after that trouble, the sun will grow dark, the moon will stop shining, the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers in heaven will be shaken. Then they will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with tremendous power and glory. He will send out his angels and gather together his chosen people from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. Now let the fig tree teach you its lesson. When its branches begin to sprout and leaves appear, know that summer is approaching. In the same way, when you see all these things happening, you are to know that the time is near, right at the door. Yes, I tell you that this people will certainly not pass away before all these things happen. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will certainly not pass away. However, when that day and hour will come, no one knows, not the angels in heaven, not the Son, just the Father. Stay alert. Be on your guard, for you do not know when the time will come. It's like a man who travels away from home, puts his servants in charge, each with his own task, and tells the doorkeeper to stay alert. So stay alert, for you don't know when the owner of the house will come, whether it will be evening, midnight, cockcrow, or morning. You don't want him to come suddenly and find you sleeping. And what I say to you, I say to everyone, stay alert. Mark chapter 14. It was now 2 days before Pesach, that is the festival of Matzah, and the head Kohanim and the Torah teachers were trying to find some way to arrest Yah-Usha surreptitiously and have him put to death. For they said, not during the festival, or the people will riot. While he was in Beit Anayah, in the home of Shimeon, a man who had had Tzaraat, and as he was eating, a woman came with an alabaster jar of perfume, pure oil of nard, very costly. She broke the jar and poured the perfume over Yah-Usha's head. But some there angrily said to themselves, why this waste of perfume? It could have been sold for a year's wages and given to the poor. And they scolded her. But he said, let her be. Why are you bothering her? She has done a beautiful thing for me. For you will always have the poor with you, and whenever you want to, you can help them. But you will not always have me. What she could do, she did do, In advance, she poured perfume on my body to prepare it for burial. Yes, I tell you that wherever in the whole world this good news is proclaimed, what she has done will be told in her memory." Then Yehuda from Keriot, who was one of the 12, went to the head Kohanim in order to betray Yah-Usha to them. They were pleased to hear this and promised to give him money, and he began looking for a good opportunity to betray Yah-Usha. On the first day for Matzah, when they slaughtered the lamb for Pesach, Yah-Usha's Talmidim asked him, "Where do you want us to go and prepare your Seder?" He sent 2 of his Talmidim with these instructions: "Go into the city, and a man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. And whichever house he enters, tell him that the rabbi says, 'Where is the guest room for me, where I am to eat the Pesach meal with my Talmidim?' He will show you a large room upstairs. Furnish them ready. Make the preparations there." The Talmidim went off, came to the city, and found things just as he had told them they would be, and they prepared the cedar. When evening came, Yah-Usha arrived with the 12. As they were reclining and eating, Yah-Usha said, "Yes, I tell you that one of you is going to betray me." They became upset and began asking him one after the other, "You don't mean me, do you?" "It's one of the 12, he said to them. "Someone dipping matzah in the dish with me. For the Son of Man will die, just as the Tanakh says he will. But woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for him had he never been born. While they were eating, Yah-Usha took a piece of matzah, made a barakah, broke it, gave it to them, and said, "Take it, this is my body." Also he took a cup of wine, made a barakah, and gave it to them, and they all drank. He said to them, "This is my blood, which ratifies the new covenant, my blood shed on behalf of many people. Yes, I tell you, I will not drink this fruit of the vine again until the day I drink new wine in the kingdom of God." After singing the Hallel, they went out to the Mount of Olives. Yah-Usha said to them, "You will all lose faith in me, for the Tanakh says, 'I will strike the shepherd dead, and the sheep will be scattered.' But after I have been raised, I will go ahead of you into the Galilee." Kepha said to him, "Even if everyone else loses faith in you, I won't." Yah-Usha replied, "Yes, I tell you that this very night, before the rooster crows twice, you will disown me 3 times. But Kepha kept insisting, "Even if I must die with you, I will never disown you." And they all said the same thing. They went to a place called Gat Shemanim, and Yah-Usha said to his Talmidim, "Sit here while I pray." He took with him Kepha, Yaakov, and Yochanan. Great distress and anguish came over him, and he said to them, "My heart is so filled with sadness that I could die. Remain here and stay awake." Going on a little farther, he fell on the ground and prayed that if possible the hour might pass from him. "Abba, that is, dear Father, all things are possible for you. Take this cup away from me. Still, not what I want, but what you want." He came and found them sleeping, and he said to Kepha, "Shimeon, are you asleep? Couldn't you stay awake 1 hour? Stay awake, and pray that you will not be put to the test. The spirit indeed is eager, but human nature is weak." Again he went away and prayed, saying the same words. And again he came and found them sleeping. Their eyes were so very heavy, and they didn't know what to answer him. The 3rd time he came and said to them, "For now, go on sleeping, take your rest. There, that's enough. The time has come. Look, the Son of Man is being betrayed into the hands of sinners. Get up, let's go. Here comes my betrayer." While Yah-Usha was still speaking, Yehuda, one of the 12, came, and with him a crowd carrying swords and clubs from the head Kohanim, the Torah teachers, and the elders. The betrayer had arranged to give them a signal. "The man I kissed is the one you want. Grab him and take him away under guard." As he arrived, he went right up to Yah-Usha, said, "Rabbi," and kissed him. Then they laid hold of Yah-Usha and arrested him. But one of the people standing nearby drew his sword and struck at the servant of the Kohan Hagadol, cutting off his ear. Yah-Usha addressed them, "So you came out to take me with swords and clubs, the way you would the leader of a rebellion? Every day I was with you in the temple court teaching, and you didn't seize me then. But let the Tanakh be fulfilled." And they all deserted him and ran away. There was one young man who did try to follow him, but he was wearing only a nightshirt. And when they tried to seize him, he slipped out of the nightshirt and ran away naked. They led Yah-Usha to the Kohen Hagadol, with whom all the head Kohanim, elders and Torah teachers were assembling. Kepha followed him at a distance right into the courtyard of the Kohen Hagadol, where he sat down with the guards and warmed himself by the fire. The head Kohanim and the whole Sanhedrin tried to find evidence against Yah-Usha so that they might have him put to death, but they couldn't find any. For many people gave false evidence against him, but their testimonies didn't agree. Some stood up and gave this false testimony. We heard him say, "I will destroy this temple made with hands, and in 3 days I will build another one, not made with hands." Even so, their testimonies didn't agree. The Kohen Hagadol stood up in front and asked Yah-Usha, "Have you nothing to say to the accusations these men are making?" But he remained silent and made no reply. Again the Kohen Hagadol questioned him, "Are you the Mashiach ben Hameborach?" "I am," answered Yah-Usha. "Moreover, you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of Ha-Geburah and coming on the clouds of heaven." At this the Kohen Hagadol tore his clothes and said, "Why do we still need witnesses? You heard him blaspheme. What is your decision?" And they all declared him guilty and subject to the death penalty. Then some began spitting at him, and after blindfolding him, they started pounding him with their fists and saying to him, "Let's see you prophesy." And as the guards took him, they beat him too. Meanwhile, Kepha was still in the courtyard below. One of the serving girls of the Kohen Hagadol saw Kepha warming himself, took a look at him, and said, "You are with the man from Nazareth, Yah-Usha." But he denied it, saying, "I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about." He ran outside into the entryway, and a rooster crowed. The girl saw him there and started telling the bystanders, "This fellow is one of them." Again he denied it. A little later, the bystanders themselves said to Kepha, "You must be one of them because you are from the Galilee." At this he began to invoke a curse on himself as he swore, "I do not know this man you're telling me about." And immediately the rooster crowed a second time. Then Kepha remembered what Yah-Usha had said to him, "Before the rooster crows twice, you will disown me 3 times." And throwing himself down, he burst into tears. Mark chapter 15. As soon as it was morning, the head Kohanim held a council meeting with the elders, the Torah teachers, and the whole Sanhedrin. Then they put Yah-Usha in chains, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. Pilate put this question to him, "Are you the king of the Jews?" He answered, "The words are yours." The head Kohanim too made accusations against him, and Pilate again inquired of him, "Aren't you going to answer? Look how many charges they are making against you." But Yah-Usha made no further response to Pilate's amazement. Now during a festival, Pilate used to set free one prisoner, whomever the crowd requested. There was in prison among the rebels who had committed murder during the insurrection a man called Bar-Abba. When the crowd came up and began asking Pilate to do for them what he usually did, he asked them, "Do you want me to set free for you the king of the Jews?" For it was evident to him that it was out of jealousy that the head Kohanim had handed him over. But the head Kohanim stirred up the crowd to have him release Bar-Abba for them instead. Pilate again said to them, "Then what should I do with the man you call the king of the Jews?" They shouted back, "Put him to death on the stake." He asked, "Why? What crime has he committed?" But they only shouted louder, "Put him to death on the stake." So Pilate, wishing to satisfy the mob, set Bar-Abba free for them, but he had Yah-Usha whipped, and then handed him over to be executed on the stake. The soldiers led him away inside the palace, that is, the headquarters building, and called together the whole battalion. They dressed him in purple and wove thorn branches into a crown, which they put on him. Then they began to salute him. Hail to the King of the Jews. Then they hit him on the head with a stick, spat on him, and kneeled in mock worship of him. When they had finished ridiculing him, they took off the purple robe, put his own clothes back on him, and led him away to be nailed to the execution stake. A certain man from Cyrene, Shimeon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the stake. They brought Yah-Usha to a place called Golgotha, which means place of a skull, and they gave him wine spiced with myrrh, but he didn't take it. Then they nailed him to the execution stake, and they divided his clothes among themselves, throwing dice to determine what each man should get. It was 9 in the morning when they nailed him to the stake. Over his head, the written notice of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." On execution stakes with him, they placed 2 robbers, one on his right and one on his left. People passing by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "Aha! So you can destroy the temple, can you? And rebuild it in 3 days? Save yourself and come down from the stake." Likewise, the head Kohanim and the Torah teachers made fun of him, saying to each other, "He saved others, but he can't save himself." And, "So he's the Messiah, is he? The King of Israel? Let him come down now from the stake. If we see that, then we'll believe him." Even the men nailed up with him insulted him. At noon, darkness covered the whole land until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At 3, he uttered a loud cry, "Elohi, Elohi, lema sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you deserted me?" On hearing this, some of the bystanders said, "Look, he's calling for Eliyahu." One ran and soaked the sponge in vinegar, put it on a stick and gave it to him to drink. "Wait," he said, "let's see if Eliyahu will come and take him down." But Yah-Usha let out a loud cry and gave up his spirit, and the parquet in the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. When the Roman officer who stood facing him saw the way he gave up his spirit, he said, "This man really was a son of God." There were women looking on from a distance. Among them were Miriam from Magdala, Miriam, the mother of the younger Yaakov and of Yossi, and Shalomit. These women had followed him and helped him when he was in the Galilee. And many other women were there who had come up with him to Yerushalayim. Since it was preparation day, that is, the day before a Shabbat, as evening approached, Yosef of Ramatayim, a prominent member of the Sanhedrin, who himself was also looking forward to the kingdom of God, went boldly to Pilate and asked for Yah-Usha's body. Pilate was surprised to hear that he was already dead, so he summoned the officer and asked him if he had been dead a while. After he had gotten confirmation from the officer that Yah-Usha was dead, he granted Joseph the corpse. Joseph purchased the linen sheet, and after taking Yah-Usha down, he wrapped him in the linen sheet, laid him in a tomb which had been cut out of the rock, and rolled a stone against the entrance to the tomb. Miriam of Magdala and Miriam the mother of Yossi saw where he had been laid. Mark chapter 16. When Shabbat was over, Miriam of Magdala, Miriam the mother of Yaakov, and Shalomit bought spices in order to go and anoint Yah-Usha. Very early the next day, just after sunrise, they went to the tomb. They were asking each other, "Who will roll away the stone from the entrance to the tomb for us?" Then they looked up and saw that the stone, even though it was huge, had been rolled back already. On entering the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe sitting on the right, and they were dumbfounded. But he said, "Don't be so surprised. You're looking for Yah-Usha from Nazareth, who was executed on the stake. He has risen, he's not here. Look at the place where they laid him. But go and tell his Talmidim, especially Kepha, that he is going to the Galilee ahead of you. You will see him there, just as he told you." Trembling but ecstatic, they went out and fled from the tomb, and they said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. When Yah-Usha rose early Sunday, he appeared first to Miriam of Magdala, from whom he had expelled 7 demons. She ran out and told those who had been with him, as they were crying and mourning. But when they heard that he was alive and that she had seen him, they wouldn't believe it. After that, Yah-Usha appeared in another form to 2 of them as they were walking into the country. They went and told the others, but they didn't believe them either. Later, Yah-Usha appeared to the 11 as they were eating, and he approached them for their lack of trust. And he reproached them for their lack of trust and their spiritual insensitivity in not having believed those who had seen him after he had risen. Then he said to them, "As you go throughout the world, proclaim the good news to all creation. Whoever trusts and is immersed will be saved. Whoever does not trust will be condemned. And these signs will accompany those who do trust. In my name they will drive out demons, speak with new tongues, not be injured if they handle snakes or drink poison, and heal the sick by laying hands on them." So then, after he had spoken to them, the Lord Yah-Usha was taken up into heaven and sat at the right hand of God. And they went out and proclaimed everywhere, the Lord working with them and confirming the message by the accompanying signs. Okay, I think that's it. So that was 17. 16, yeah. Alright, so tomorrow, starting Luke chapter 1. Thank you. Namaste. I'm gonna do yoga and then ASMR. I'm tired. I slept less than an hour last night. So that's why I'm trying to get through as fast as I can so I could get everything done before I, drop dead. Thank you. See you soon. Namaste.